This week's program was inspired by my mother. So you can all blame her. She's sitting over there. She comes up with the ideas and then I have to execute them. No. So what she did, she gave me a reading. She has a devotional book that she reads from, and she showed me this one and said, we should do something based on this. And then came up with a huge amount of ideas, and I think I come up with lots of ideas, but Mum comes up with more. So we then have to cull. And I have, just so you know, in advance, we have culled all the ideas down as much as I feel comfortable with. So I'm just going to read the reading to you, and then we'll go from there with what comes next. In the 1901 hymn, This Is My Father's World, pastor and poet Maltby Babcock wrote of the delight he felt on his frequent outdoor walks, where he was captivated by breathtaking panoramic vistas. Writing of his fascination with the skies, seas and creatures, he described sensing God's presence and concluded, "He speaks to me everywhere." Although creation doesn't have an audible voice as his handiwork, it's one important way we learn about the one who made the heavens and the earth and the sea and everything in them. In creation, we see evidence of God's glory, as well as aspects of who God is, such as his eternal nature. When we observe the strength of the wind or the roar of the rushing water, creation showcases God's power. Described in the poetry of Job 38, his power is evident in ordering the seasons, directing the weather, overseeing the cosmos, and sustaining living creatures. Creation is also the means by which we experience many of God's blessings. Through creation, he blesses us with food and drink, as well as many other necessities that sustain us. More than simply a physical blessing, creation is a way that God restores our souls as we experience the peace of gentle pastures and quiet streams. In all of these ways and more, creation is visible and tangible evidence of who our Creator God is, revealing his character, love, and constant care of us. So, because of that, which is something that we probably forget to think about a lot of the time, is how we can see God in the world around us. We are going to explore today a few ways that we see God through creation, okay. I'm getting instructions from upstairs, sorry. And we will just find out and learn about different things that might inspire us and help us to know God a little bit better through the creation of the world and the things that we can see around us, and maybe help us to look a little bit more closer as we go through our days. We're going to start off with a hymn. The hymn, This Is My Father's World. I've been asked to mention that at least one of my girls who are singing today is not 100% well, and she just wants to let you know that it might not sound that great.
Please stand and sing with us. Please stand.
This is my Father's world, and to my listening ears, all nature signs around me ring the music of the spheres. This is my Father's world, I rest in the thought of rocks and trees, of skies and seas, his hand the wondrous road. This is my Father's Father's world. The words that carols raise, the morning light, the lily white, declare the Maker's praise. This is my Father's word, He shines in all that's fair. In the rustling grass I hear Him pass, He speaks to me everywhere. This is my Father's world. Oh, let me ne'er forget that through the wrong seems of so strong, God rules the ruler yet. This is my Father's word. Why should my heart be sad? The Lord is King, let the heavens ring. God reigns, let the earth be glad.
Okay, I'm now going to get you to move into your different groups. I have handed out 6 different coloured pieces of paper to different people, and I would like the groups to join those where those pieces of paper are. So Rachel's got one here, Mrs. Dixon's got one. Who else has got one? I think I gave one to Summer, and over here with Joanne, and who else? Oh, the blue one and the red one. So what I want though is I'd really like for people who are visitors to not feel like they are being forced to go places or separate and not be comfortable. So if you're a visitor, hopefully someone from our regular congregation can come and help you to decide where to go. I would really like for family groups, not family groups, like parents, maybe, or husbands and wives, I'll put, husbands and wives not to be in the same group if you can manage it. If you have children, you are allowed to keep your children with you, but try and mix it up a bit so that you're with someone that you maybe don't normally do a lot of stuff with or talk to a lot, so that we can get a little bit of interaction happening. But also elderly people, hopefully we can keep them where they are and they don't have to move around a lot. So if you can do that, then once we've done that, we will we'll get started with our first little activity. So Margaret has the blue one wherever she's going. Thank you, Margaret. Just try to be in different groups, girls. Hey, you can be Mike. What? Grandpa, don't be a piker. It would be great if the kids could spread out among with the adults as well, with the different groups, so that you can get to know the big people can get to know who you are. So. How are we going? We've got 2 groups over this side And we've got 4 groups down there over this side. Is there one group that... Yeah. Is there one of the groups on this side able to move over to that side so that we are less confused? Because we've got 4 on this side and 2 on that side. So there might be... Yeah, that'll work. Rachel, you can come over here. That works. Okay, so where do I have... I feel like there's 2 groups that are almost together. So... Okay, I'm just trying to figure out myself. So it doesn't, there's no particular number. Obviously, the smaller your group is, the quicker you're going to get through things together. So if you don't want to be, you guys are going to have a hard time talking with each other and everybody hearing. Yeah, not this group. You're fine. You're doing great there. So you might want to, because you are going to have discussions with each other, which is actually how we're going to start. Just so if you don't know each other, in a minute, I'll get you to introduce yourselves. And then the question that I want you to have a very quick 2-minute, no more, because we're running out of time already, is to just mention, go around the circle. We do this quite a lot in our house. Go around the circle and say something that helps you to see, something in nature that helps you to know or see God. So 2 minutes. If you don't know somebody, introduce yourselves and then answer the question. How are we going? Has everybody got through their group? These guys have. These, as I said, small groups are going to finish a lot quicker. All right. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut you off. If you have a moment later, you can finish off the going around the circle. I don't know if you'll get that much time. So we have altered the program a bit. So the next thing on my thing, we're going to explore 3 different parts of nature that I've found very interesting recently because I learn a lot from helping my kids with their schoolwork. So the first thing I'm going to get us to learn about a little bit is sound. And one of the questions my mum asked in coming up with this program was, when did God make sound? So again, in your groups, I want you to see if you can come up with an answer to that question. Again, I'm only giving you 2 minutes. So who thinks they can figure out when God made sound? I know I'm not actually going to get you to give me the answer. I just want you to discuss it and see what you think. I'm getting a 10-second warning from at the top. About 10 seconds ago. So, should I ask? Okay, did anybody think they came up with a good answer to that question? Oh, yeah, we'll have a couple of people, as long as it's short and sweet. It's a good question to ponder. It's I don't think there's an answer that can be found in the Bible, but or a definite answer. There can be a lot of theories. So if you would like to share your theory.
We decided that if God hadn't created our ears, you wouldn't know what sound was.
That's a good point.
In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light."
So because God
spoke.
Because
yeah,
God
so God spoke. But I was thinking, in our world, when God created our world, sound already existed because it happened in heaven. There was already
although we
sound.
don't really know if the way sound works here is the way sound works in heaven. So anyway, do we have one more down the back? We'll have it as our last one.
Sounds.
Kaylee said sound was always there.
Sound was always there. Well, it's actually, as I said, one of those questions that we might have to ask God when we get there. But sound is one of those amazing things that is quite, well, it can be inspiring, and it can be something that confuses us, and it's just one of those things, if you stop and listen, especially if you're away from the hustle and bustle of cities and stuff, that you can hear some amazing things. So we're going to have a little quiz. It's called a sound quiz. We're going to play you some sounds, and we're going to get you to listen, and in your groups you're going to see if you can come up with what it is that's making that sound. And then we'll see if someone gets the correct answer. So sound number 1 is... So just talk to each other first and see if you can work it out. And these are all nature sounds. None of them are, they're all natural. Are we ready? Somebody's got it. We're going to start here and see who can come up what they think it is. I'll tell you what the answer is after we've gone through all the groups.
A dolphin with a natural laser gun.
A dolphin, with a natural laser gun. Okay. Chloe, you're not allowed to tell anybody.
A dog.
A seal.
A seal. What about this side?
Bird.
A bird. Next group. Hurry up, handy helpers or whatever you are.
Frog.
My lovely assistant. Sorry, what was it?
Frog.
A frog. That's a good answer. I like that answer.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yeah, except for Star Wars, it needs to be natural.
They said a bird already up there.
Yep, last group.
Just the tiny little birds.
Tiny
Baby
little
in
birds.
a nest.
Okay, so unfortunately, no one got it right. So I think these are adorable, even though they can be quite scary once they get bigger. These are baby crocodiles. That's the noise baby crocodiles make. So next sound.
Really? What?
Okay, you get a couple of seconds to discuss it together and see if you can figure out what that is. All right. Okay. It's not working. Hello. Okay, we're going to start with the group up the back.
It sounds like a goat.
It sounds like a goat. Do we have any other suggestions?
A kid screaming.
A kid screaming. I did hear a few people mention that it might have been my own children.
Pew, pew.
Yep, go. A baby crying?
Chloe Bolst. You guys are all laughing.
No, that just makes them laugh. Grandma wants.
Is it a pig?
Did you guys have a go? Yeah, what was yours? Oh, kid screaming, that's right.
Same answer, Chloe.
Same answer. Chloe. So it's not Chloe. No, actually the people at the back have got it right. It was a goat. So there you go. Okay, the next one. All right, that one goes through a little bit there. Okay, the group up the back again has come up pretty quick.
Is it a camel?
All right, they've said camel. What's the next group?
Does it sound like a bear? I don't know.
A bear. Front group here.
A pig.
Or a boa or some sort of livestock.
Okay, some sort of livestock. Next group.
A calf born.
A calf being born.
A calf being born.
Possibly being retrieved from a farmer.
Okay.
A cow.
She would know. Start with cow.
We said camel too.
Camel.
A camel. Okay, so two groups. You both got it right. It was a camel, yes. So next one. This one is my favourite out of everything. Remember, this is a natural sound made by nature. You can discuss if you like. What's being said? Oh, we've got...
A dolphin.
A dolphin. We've had a dolphin for a one suggestion. Rachel, what's yours?
A mouse or someone stepping on a chihuahua.
Okay. It's not the... Next.
We've come up with one answer only, a cat getting his tail pulled.
A cat hanging back.
Kissing.
Kissing. Okay.
A baby swan.
A baby swan. Ooh. Have we had the back group?
I've no idea. Maybe some sort of bird.
Maybe some sort of, yep. All right, so obviously this one I didn't really expect anyone to get because I don't think anybody's thought about this creature actually making a noise. It's actually a caterpillar. So there are caterpillars that when you touch them, they will pull their head back in and the air will come out little pores in the side of there and it sounds like a squeaky toy, which I think is so cool. There is a video that goes with that, so I have proof. Next. I'll get in and say again that it is not one of my children. You've got to turn it off now. It's only the first bit. I think we might have given it away with the next ones that came through. So, what is it? It is a cat. That one was a cat. Yeah, we gave it away with the second. Okay, the next one. All right, shall we go have a go again? Might have to stop doing this. Which one?
A chick.
A chick, that's one possibility.
A bird.
Mm.
A water, what? Bird or frog?
Skip the next one and go to the one. No, I want the...
A canary?
Canary. We all come up with birds.
Bird.
A bird. Anybody have anything outside of the bird realm? I think you'll all be surprised by this one. It is... Drum roll. No. It is a cheetah. That's the sound a cheetah makes. We're going to skip the next one and go to the one after that. Any ideas what that one might be?
A whale.
A whale. That's a good option.
A bull.
A bull. You said whale too? Okay. We have two whales and a bull.
Some sort of monkey.
A monkey.
Whale.
Another whale option. Last one.
A what?
Narwhal.
A narwhal. That's another option. So if you're walking in the woods of North America and you hear that sound in the middle of the night when there's mist flying around, I think that would be quite terrifying. It's an elk. That's the sound an elk makes. I think we'll do, it's like a moose, but not a moose. Oh, I want to do that one. That one's cool.
Okay, do that one. Next.
We're going to do the next one. Any thoughts on what that is? Again, completely natural. Nothing fake about it. A whale again.
A Hedgehog.
A hedgehog.
Whale. Monkey.
Monkey, whale. And I'm going to tell you, okay, because...
We're going with something underwater. We just haven't decided
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
what. Oh.
You are the closest so far.
Not dolphin. Or porpoise make a different sound to a dolphin. Okay, killer whales or something.
Killer whales. Okay. So I probably just... we have been doing mostly animal noises. This is not actually an animal noise. I probably could have prefaced it with that. I could have prefaced it with that, couldn't I? So it is actually a frozen lake with the ice that's shifting. So I don't know, some people might have seen videos of, if you're one of those people that watches little clips of things, there's actually skipping stones across the top of the frozen lakes. That makes a very similar sound to that as well. We're going to do one more, and I think it's going to be that one.
Skip 2.
It's a living thing. It's an animal. And it's not the bird noise. We're not talking about bird noise. I think there's a baby version of it coming up. Or did we get rid of that? No, we got rid of that.
A bear.
A bear.
Let's think first.
Coming
Pig.
back to that group. We've said pig.
Elephant.
Elephant. Kaylee's the spokesperson for that.
Lion.
A lion.
A
Yep.
pig.
Another pig option.
A wild pig.
A wild pig.
Hippo.
A hippo. Well, okay. So I think this group may have come the closest only because it's sometimes mistaken as being a bear. It's a koala. So that's that cute cuddly thing, that's that horrible noise that they make. So just wanted you to see how fascinating the world is when it comes to sound, and that if you stop and listen, you will hear some amazing things. So I'm going to get these two lovely assistants to hand out a musical instrument to each group. Not though. We might just go with one of these. Oh, that guitar. No, not that one. All right, when you get your musical instrument, I want you all, this probably shouldn't take too long. In your groups, talk about what or how the sound is made. So we're just talking about how the sound is made by your instrument.
So you have 5 minutes.
you want to play that video while we're... Just no sound. The prayer focus.
So who knows Merv Janowski? Merv, put your hand up. Everybody turn around and have a look. And I was just talking to Merv and I said, did you know Brig and Helen Warrod? And he said, yes. And that was a long time ago because they were my parents. Merv lives over here in the units in Moore Street, that correct, Merv? And we used to live next door to those, Merv. So our prayer focus is Merv Janowski, and I'm happy I know that, even how to say the name, because my mum and dad used to say it, even though I didn't know Merv at the time. But yes, I remember them talking. Merv was a collie boy, I believe, a while ago now. And as you can see, when Merv comes, he is challenged with everyday life, with breathing and even doing things. So when we pray for Merv all this week, remember that you are asking God to help him through his daily activities. Merv lost his wife in March, so he is really challenged, not only physically but emotionally. So let's remember Merv all this week in our prayers. Let's bow and pray for Merv now. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you that you love us so much, but we know that Merv's space for you is filled with Merv, and only he can fill that space, and you know where he is and what's happening with him, Lord. And we can see the challenges that he has to face daily, and we thank you for the help that he has daily also, Lord. But we ask, dear Lord, that you be with him spiritually, that you guide him daily, that you hang on to him for eternity, Lord. So please bless him and hold him tight, Lord, and never let him go. And help us, Lord, to remember to pray for Merv and help for him each day. We love you and we thank you, dear Lord, for caring for each one of us. Amen.
Open that. All right. So we're moving from sound to wind. Who knows how wind is made? Just one. I don't need all. Just one. Does anybody know how, apart from Mr. Mason, I'm sure he knows. He scares me today because he's a science teacher and I'm trying to do science stuff, sort of. Does anybody? Kieran will know too, obviously. All these smart people. Hey? Hot and cold air moving around, that's right. I was going to hopefully give a little demonstration. I don't know if I've got time though. Should I skip this? Might be able to show the kids after how it works. Do you want to do it after, kids? Come and see how the wind is created. It's to do with particles. Yeah. So what happens, like, you know how we're talking about with the vibrations of the particles moving the sound through the air? Well, there's particles in the air that when we heat them up, they get, I like this little analogy, they start vibrating and they move away from each other and they're very free and they move around, and we call that a low pressure thing, a low pressure system. And then when they get cold, these particles, they still keep vibrating, but they get close to each other. I reckon they do it because they're trying to get warm again. But because they're all these people close to each other, and I'm not someone that likes necessarily to be crowded, it can be a very high pressure situation. So it gets, and what happens is when the high pressure thing happens, the air goes up high, so it rises in the air, and then the cold air, which is heavier, comes and goes to where the hot air used to be. And because you've got that wind going around and around in circles, that's how we get, well, the air moving around and around in circles, that's what creates the wind. And I think we'll do it after church. If your kids want to have a look at an experiment that shows you how that works, hopefully it works, I can show you after. But one of the things that people like to do is to try and harness the wind to use it. So what I've given you all in your groups is coloured pieces of paper. And I want you to use those pieces of paper, and I think a lot of people might go, oh, this is not a little bit predictable. I want you to make something out of the piece of paper that you can use to harness the wind or use the wind. So hopefully it doesn't have to necessarily be maybe the predictable thing. What are you talking about? This thing? We might get this. Or did you get one of those things out? We might. Grab it.
me. I can smell, guys. So tap Mum's computer. Lisa.
All right. If any of the kids out there want to come and have a look, I've actually done this thing here now.
Eva. No, it needs to go again. Speak up. We did this in the science yesterday with Max Mohammed. Oh, yeah, it is. See how it's coming and then it's towards there. Because the cold air is moving over here while the hot air goes up there. And that's how you get wind outside. Remember, when it's down, up and up in the daytime. And there's water. Mum. It's just coming over here. Oh, you can do that. And then because the sand is hot, the air above the sand goes hot, and then it moves over to the and the water, the air that's over the sea comes across to where the sand is over the sand and you get so whenever you feel a breeze, it's because there's hot air. And it's going up. Mum, it's going to I'm going to get rid of it now. As Rachel gets it. Sorry, Rachel.
Okay. Sorry, my fault. So, have we all come up with one thing each that you can use to harness the wind? Oh, look. We have an aeroplane down here in yellow. I think we've got what's supposed to be what are they called? A windmill. A windmill. Which one? Oh, look, that one over there. That's what you tried to do. Well done. We have in the red here down the front, it's a kite and a windmill. One thing. We only have one thing per group. What about our orange group up the back? What did we come up with? A fan, yes, and an aeroplane. So, our blue, oh, we made a bird. I don't know so much if that's harnessing the wind ourselves. It's something from nature that harnesses the wind. And, oh, yes, our pink group made a fan as well. So, that's pretty awesome. I would like to show you something that God created that harnesses the wind. So I've got a little video for you.
And guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
You're watching the launch of 1,000 flying machines, each exquisitely crafted to airdrop life throughout the earth. A dandelion puff exists for one crucial purpose: to disperse the flower's seeds as far as possible from the parent plant. Its component parts are well suited for the task. Dozens of individual seeds are attached to the head of this flower. Each is covered with microscopic hooks that will eventually help anchor them to fertile soil. A thin stem elevates a cluster of bristles called the pappus, and these filaments are engineered to respond to variations in the weather. On a rainy morning, the moist, heavy air makes extended flight all but impossible. Every pappus reacts by closing tightly. But later in the day, when the air dries out and the temperature warms, the reaction is quickly reversed in preparation for takeoff. Under optimal conditions, a seed can stay aloft for more than 10 miles. At the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, a team of engineers discovered how these tiny mechanisms fly so well. Using a vertical wind tunnel, they photographed the dynamics of airflow around the seed. When currents passed between the bristles, a swirling whirlpool called a vortex ring formed just above the pappus. In nature, this pocket of low pressure sucks the parachute upward and stabilizes its movement as it's carried by the wind. Other studies have also revealed that the vortex's shape and ability to maintain its position are determined by the size and quantity of the bristles and the amount of empty space between them. Simulation models demonstrate that in a biological structure this small, the finely tuned airflow required for flight is the product of circular geometry with 92% open space and 100 thread-like filaments. Not surprisingly, that's the blueprint for the pappus of a typical dandelion seed. How well does this technology work? When compared to a conventional parachute, the pappus is at least 4 times more efficient at maintaining altitude and slowing the seed's descent to Earth. Innovation, foresight, and world-class engineering, all displayed in living wonders so common and familiar, we pass them by each day without a glance or second thought.
So I think most people's thoughts about those little puffballs are not the greatest. So maybe we need to reconsider these things that we think of as pests and weeds, and remember that God made them amazing and just, yes, very complex. So we're moving on from, what have we done? Sound and wind, and we're going to light. Now, light is different than wind and sound in that it doesn't need particles to move or to get places. Light actually moves through empty space, through a vacuum. So like the sun gets to us through the vacuum of space where there is no particles. That means that if you're in space and something hits together, the vibrations don't actually go anywhere because there's no particles for them to move. So people will tell you cannot hear things in space. There's no sound in space because there's no ability for the sound to move. Also, wind doesn't happen in space either because there's no way for particles to be heated. But light can travel through. Some people talk about solar wind, but that's a different process altogether that I don't know about. So light doesn't need particles. It's a combination of electrical energy and magnetic energy called, who was doing that recently? Electromagnetic radiation. It was you. And we use that all the time. So you're in lots of different ways. It creates, you use it with your phones. You use it when you go to the doctor and have an x-ray. You use it to see colours. The colours that you see are created with electromagnetic radiation. It's the light. And light, although it doesn't need to have particles to travel, it is affected by particles. So once it hits the Earth's atmosphere, it does all sorts of interesting things. So one of those things is like it will either, it can bounce off things, we call that reflecting. It can go through things, like as in the case of an X-ray, it'll go through your body, or it will go through things and like clear things, like glass, and it will refract, and that you can split. That's where we get the rainbow from. So we're going to actually have a little bit of fun with, yes, creating rainbows. So the girls are going to bring around a crystal each for each group. Not to keep, definitely not to keep, because they belong to people. Maybe give Carly, maybe give this one here to Grandma's group, and Grandma can take care of it specially. I'm not sure if it'll work 100% well. And rather than that big one, that's a plastic. Yeah, give that one to Grandma. Zoe, instead of that one that you just gave, because that's plastic rather than glass, it's not going to work as well. If you have, hopefully, people have mobile phones with lights on them. And you may need a piece of white paper to put next to it. So you put the light from the mobile phone as close as you can to the crystal, and usually you might need it laying flat. So if you put that down there and put this down there like that and have that, like put it down right down close to the paper, and you get that to go as close as you can. Lift it up a little bit. Can you see the rainbow? All the colours, yep, I can. Yep. You can play with that a bit more. How are we going? Is anybody? Is it working? Yes. Do you need a piece of paper? How are we going? You got to put it right next to the crystal. Oh no, where did the? So, the plastic one. Is there a? I want a non-plastic one. That one you have to get really close to. It does work. It's like the closer you get that to the light, the better. But yeah, it's the plastic one. It's not going to work as well. So use this one. So if you get that as close to the light as you can, and yeah, little you can get it. And if it's, can you see it? Can you see the rainbow?
Yep.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Yep. Yeah. Is it working? Do you want me to help? Can you see it? Is it working? That one's working. These guys. So the closer to the crystal needs to be as close to the light. Okay, do this way. See that? Can you see it on the paper? What are you trying to see? The rainbow colours. See, just here? Just a little bit. We had it before. Yes, we didn't have any prisms. All right. So that's the process that happens when light is refracted through something and we get to see all the colours. And that's what happens when you have a rainbow, except for it, instead of going through crystal, it goes through raindrops. And the thing that I think is really cool about rainbows is that everybody sees the same rainbow completely different. You can be standing next to somebody, right next to them, and the way they see the rainbow is going to be completely different because the light goes through every single raindrop, but the person standing next to you is going to see a different colour coming through that raindrop than you, who's standing right next to them. So that raindrop will spread out all those different colours, but you will only see one for each of the individual raindrops, one colour, but the person next to you will see different colour coming through that raindrop. So no matter, and that obviously changes when you move as well. But everybody sees the rainbow, the same rainbow, completely different to each other. And I think that's really amazing because, yes, you guys can go get them. Because God made everything different and he made us all to see things differently. And I think that's something that we should remember, because it's not just about rainbows, but everything that we see, we're made differently. We're going to see things differently than the person next to us. And just something to keep in mind about what we're going through, what we've been through, and just to remember that other people around us are not going to experience things or remember things in the same way. So the other thing that light does is to reflect. And I'm going to get my helpful assistants who are just busy as. Do you want the laser pointer? So we're going to get mirrors. What's a mirror? What would you say a mirror is? Something that you reflects, that's right. So here, this is going to be tricky for people. Do you want to, you need to get the other mirror. So we're going to try, I don't know if we're going to see, if we can come closer here. So you need to reflect, you need to point that at one. Yes, don't do it in eyes. So bring it up a little bit. Up, up, up. So it's bouncing off the one mirror and it's going back. Where is it? There, and it's going back up to, see if I can get it to go on the wall. Who can see it? It's on the ceiling. Close your eyes. There it is, up in that corner over there. So Carly's pointing the laser pointer down to Zoe's, getting the right names, aren't I? I'm doing well. Zoe's mirror, and then it's reflecting back up to the corner over there. So that's a demonstration of how light reflects. Can you light the candle for me? So, can anybody tell me something big in nature that acts like a mirror? Karen. No, we're going to ask one of the kids. Go. Water? It does. That's right. That is actually pretty big. Potentially bigger than what maybe Kieran was talking about. You want to say it? Yes, the moon. You guys got in. I was trying to wait for this. It's the moon. And what does the moon do? It reflects well, not that sun necessarily, but I think one of my favourite sayings is we should be like the moon and we should reflect the sun. And I'm not talking about the actual physical sun, I'm talking about the Son of God. And I think that's one of the amazing things that we can do, because we can get to know God through nature and also through the Bible and praying to him. Now, the thing about reflecting the light, how many people, when you have a light, you want to stand up here? So it's not as bright as the sun and it's not as bright as God. But when you have a light that's reflected in a mirror, the light that you see in the mirror is not as bright as the original light. And so even though it's reflecting it, it's not actually reflecting it at its full capacity, well, the same capacity as that light. And I think that is a good representation of what the earth is. Now, earth, we can see God in the earth and the things that he's created and made, but the earth has been affected by sin. So it's not a full representation of how amazing and wonderful God is, but we can still see him. And I think as people who live on this earth and are also affected by sin, we shouldn't be discouraged by that, because even though we are affected by sin, we are like the world around us and everything else that God has created. We can reflect him too. Might not be as brightly, But the one thing that I think is very important is that when you get a lot of us together, and we can reflect God together, that begins to be pretty bright light. So we can show God, we can see God through nature, and there's a really important verse I want to read, but we can also show, because we are created by God, also we can show other people who God is as well. And did we get it up? Romans chapter 1 verse 20 says, since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse. So that's basically saying we can see God. He's there. There's no reason why we can't. It's evident in everything you look at, all the complexities of the way he's made things, or the simple things of how fun noises can be, down to the complexity of the tiny little pappus weeds. Okay. So I want you to go away from here today, and I want you to be someone who will shine the light of God for everyone else to see, and to look for how nature is shining his light for you as well. So we're going to sing This Little Light of Mine. We might get the kids to come down and sing together.
Come on, Alyssa. Come on, Reggie. Come on.
Oh, could you all stand with us, please?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Every day and everywhere, every day and every way, I'm gonna let my little light shine. The light that shines is the light of love. It outshines darkness from above. It shines for me and it shines for you. It shows you what the power of love can do. I'm gonna shine the light both bright and clear. Shine that light both far and near. The world's dark corner of this light, I'm gonna let my little light shine. Sunday he gave me the gift of love. Monday peace came from above. Tuesday told me to have some faith. Wednesday he gave me a little more grace. Thursday he told me to watch and pray. Friday he told me just what to say. Saturday he gave me the power divine, just to let my little light shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Every day and every way, every day and every way, I'm gonna let my little light shine.
Dear Jesus, thank you so much that you have given us this amazing world so that we can learn about you and get closer to you. Please help us this week and in the future to look around us and to see in the small things and the big things and the powerful things that you have created for us, a way that we can learn about you and get to know you better. And help us, dear Jesus, not only to see you shining through this world that you've created, but to be a light to the people that we meet, so that they can see you working through us. Thank you, dear Jesus, and please bless us. In your name we pray, amen.